So I thought I'd just show a brief look at how some special effects are done in Scott the Woz. This is console launches, and there were just a few moments in this episode that actually took some some work to effectively do. So this first one is when the Xbox One S just explodes and just falls there. As you can see, if we go frame by frame, you can probably see how this was done. But yeah, let's remove these explosions here. And we can see these are two different shots. This is its own frame. Like you can remove this. Yeah, so I wasn't in this shot because I was the only one here, and I had to just put a string on the Xbox One S and just bring it down. Now I sped it up considerably. I believe this is probably so the normal speed is pretty lackluster, but you can see it immediately kind of flops down there. But yeah, I used a string, and pretty much I did mask out the string because I also had this shot of me just on the couch, and I masked it out by using elements from this shot and masking it out into this one. And overall, I think the effect came out pretty good. And it did, I think it looked pretty good. It was quick. It was impactful. I think it did the job. But I think the more impressive one for me was the Nintendo Switch hitting it with a bat. This was interesting. So I could have bought a Switch, I guess, but it was around the holidays. I didn't wanna get rid of a Switch from the store just to beat it one time with a bat and also spend $300 on it. I was like, all right, so how can I do this? So this was very, very interesting. So as we can see, right here is just the Switch. It's just footage of the Switch hanging out there. And then if we go frame by frame, so this kind of gives a brief example of what I did here. In actuality, this is let's get rid of this mask. There we go. So I filmed the Switch like this. I very carefully took the SD card out of my camera, put it in my laptop, and took a screenshot of the Switch in this position. And I kept the camera there, so then I would have a picture of the Switch at this angle sitting on the TV stand. And then I printed it out and I cut it out very sloppily. And I put it, I taped it to a red Solo cup. And I did that so then I would have something to hit with a baseball bat. So then, because that way when I hit it, there was some resistance when I would hit it. If I would just hit a piece of paper, you could tell it's a piece of paper. With this, just hitting the red Solo cup gives me something to just something where I'm not just hitting air with the bat. I'm hitting something and it kind of flops around. So I hit that with the bat, and then it falls around. And what I did here, I think if you look at the raw footage, it's very obvious. And I think it's still fairly obvious that it was fake. But here, going frame by frame, you can still see you can still see the red Solo cup very, very subtly. But what I did was I masked it out here. So I took a mask, and as we can see here, I did something. I got rid of, I think what I did was I masked out stuff with the bat, and I maxed out the solo cup. I maxed out a lot of stuff. And what I did, you can see, I maxed out the solo cup there, and I animated the image of the switch to flop around a bit. So as we can see there, hit it, and then I cut to it here. And pretty much, I just animated a little bit, and then I immediately cut to me just dropping the Switch dock. Because the Switch dock is pretty cheap, and like that's the last thing I really cared about. like if you could probably throw that thing around, there's not much technology in there, so I thought like, okay, well I'm just gonna throw that down so then it's implied that the Switch kind of flew out of the dock at some point. When you put it all together, just really quickly, I think it came out pretty okay. I think it's still obvious, like when you go frame by frame, you can see a red solo cup there. But when you go frame by frame, you can tell there's some shenanigans going on here. But I think just watching it as a video, I think it came out pretty good. So this was a slightly complicated scene in Personal Trainer Cooking. Just having to make it look like there was all these cans of baby clams. Of course, most of the time, I'm more than willing to buy out an entire store of baby clams just for the shot. The problem is there was only a couple of cans of baby clams. So I had to do some special effects. And as you can see there, it wasn't perfect. There is some graininess here. And we can kind of showcase why exactly that is, because there was a green screen there. So as you can see, that's how it looked overall. And overall, looking at it all, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I wish that wasn't a problem, that graininess there where you can see the shadow and whatnot. That could have been more easily avoided if I used a better green screen technique. And you can also see up here, that's something I didn't really catch initially, was kind of the garbage up there. I believe in the final video, I might have, yeah, I did crop that out, so you don't see the garbage up here. But I think it came out okay. But pretty much what I did was I filmed different angles of these baby clams, and then I masked them all together, so that way they kind of look like it looked like they were all together, and I think it came out pretty okay. So as you can see here, this stuff is all kind of you know, there was only like 5 cans or so, and I kind of kept on masking them together. It's kind of hard to, yeah, as you can see here, that was only like 5 cans, and I kind of like set it up so then we put that right there, and then you can't really tell. And then something like that, you know, just what you have to do sometimes. And then, I don't know where, come on, show the, there it is. Okay, so this was only, yeah, these were down here. And then finally with this one. No, I didn't mask that one. Yeah, so there were only about four of these cans originally. But I think this effect came out pretty okay. Alright, so I thought I'd show this off before I got rid of this library, because what I normally do as a way to kind of preserve stuff with my projects is after I'm done with them, you know, I export it, obviously, but then you know, I have the project left, and just to kind of like save myself in the future, I delete all of the music and all of the bleeps and whatnot. So you know, right here where I go, F this, F this, F this. I removed all the bleeps from that, and I removed the blue border, and I removed the music, and some of the effects and whatnot. Like here, with this not being You're Not an RPG Guy, where I'm here talking to God, there's a lot of there was like an audio effect on it all to give it kind of a, like an echoey, effect overall, and I removed that. And this is just so then in the future, if I ever need to go back and I need slightly raw files from this episode, a lot of times, like if I want to incorporate scenes from this episode in a future project, this one doesn't have the blue border and it doesn't have random effects on it and whatnot. If I need to use the audio from something, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does come up every now and then where it's just like, I'll use a previous version of those episodes that make it easier. But before I delete this project, of course, let's see the full thing. Of course, this is without music, but there it is. It's pretty big. But what I do sometimes is I'll open up different projects in Final Cut. So as you can see here, I was editing the review in this one. I was editing the music video for Why Won't You Play Them. I was editing the credits in this one. This was one where I was just sending Nick, who's the composer for the episode, I would just send him random things that I could use music for. And then I also had a project for things that I deleted from the final cut of the episode. But this is just to give kind of a brief little look at like, oh, what about like some effects and whatnot. This one took a while. So this is the opening shot, and it's me and Joe in the car. And as you can see, it is a green screen. If we let me see if I can open this up. It might be a little okay. So I'm gonna V. So wow. there are a lot of layers to this. Boom, look at that. Yeah, so that was a green screen. And let me undo all that. And yeah, so that honestly speaking, I hadn't done an effect like that in a while. The last time I remember doing an effect of the green screen car magic, movie magic kind of thing, was back in like 2011 as a kid. I just put a green screen in my parents' car and I was pretending to drive it. Oh, honestly, for what it wasn't the worst thing. It came out okay, but this one came out a lot better than okay in my opinion. Honestly speaking, we probably didn't have to do this, but it kind of helped. It made things a little simpler. It made it so then we could both film each other in the car, because there's like the side shots where it's just like, oh, Joe had to film me there. And as you can see, there's some partial there, but you can maybe pretend that, oh, that's just the reflection or something like that. But there's like a lot of random things, like right here. This was obviously the only part that was green screened was the window here. This portion was not green screened. So again, if we look at that, as you can see, this portion's moving. This portion is not. That's an issue. It's something where with these, these are web videos. They're not supposed to be taken that seriously. But, you kind of have to find the right balance between caring too much and not caring. This was one where I was like, I think I'll go for it, because as you can see here, this was already a pretty white window. Like it was already pretty bright. So that made it pretty easy to do a mask, but the problem was the mask had to move a bit. So I had to kind of adjust the mask quite a bit, and I kind of gave up here because it looked fine enough. And the window behind Joe, I didn't even bother doing a mask because he covered it up well enough, and then I kind of just zoomed in. So then, like, it's obviously a goof, but it's not. It doesn't really matter that much. It's pretty unnoticeable. But I did the mask for my part, so then you could see it moving. You could see the window moving, but I brightened it up quite a bit, so then not only would it match how the window itself looks here, but it also made it so then it doesn't really matter if it's a garbage mask, because it didn't really matter, because like it didn't really matter what was. It was bright. It was too bright anyways. You could barely see it. But then we also have these scenes here. This one was fine. There wasn't much going on here. This one was a bit, so the problem was with the windshield here, it was a bit too, the green screen was a little weird there. And for some reason, it wasn't, I was going to say it wasn't picking up, but it obviously was, and it was too much. As you can see there. I opted to, just simply put kind of like a white thing there to make it look like the window is like super bright, kind of like with the window behind my head in that first shot. And then, you know, the green screen worked okay overall, but yeah, as you can see there were some issues there where like that was being the editing software was detecting that as green, that was green, and whatnot. So what I did here was I did a mask where I masked out these portions. And that's something that a lot of people with green screen sometimes don't do. They just say, screw it. And, you know, I recommend, like, if you're going to do a green screen, incorporate some masks in there, because a lot of times green screen doesn't work out how you really want it to. So it kind of just makes it so then you can actually do things, like, better, I guess. Because a lot of times people just hold up objects, and the problem is the object will have green in it, and you'll be able to see, and you know, it'll be see-through. Parts of it will be see-through. But if you incorporate a mask in there and you double it up with two clips here, and you have one clip here, and you put a mask over it, and you know, you do this kind of stuff, that helps out. But yeah, this was a very simple like fix for like an issue that wasn't like a big deal, but it ended up working okay. So this is a demonstration of something that I do sometimes. Sometimes when you're acting in front of a camera, you know, sometimes your face is like exactly how you want it to look, but let's say like the way you give a line isn't, you know, it could be better. A lot of times I find that some of the first attempts I make when delivering lines are better than the final ones, but sometimes the final ones I kind of look better, like as in like my face is more so like what I want there, or you know, something like maybe the camera autofocuses, or you know, something just doesn't look right. So usually what I'll do, since I'm delivering the line and I usually deliver it in the same kind of time frame, I'll usually take audio from one take. So here, let's try this.
They're gonna break my legs.
So
They're gonna break my legs.
So that's one of the first takes, and then this is one of the final takes.
They're gonna break my legs.
So, I know, like, these two takes are probably, like, to most people, like, what's the difference, like, whatever, and I agree, but, overall, you know, if I had to pick, you know, I would be like, okay, I kind of like my delivery on this line better.
They're gonna break my legs.
But I like how I look here, More?
Gonna break my legs.
So, one thing that I do sometimes is I replace the audio. Like, I'll take this audio recording, and I'll remove this, and then I'll put it here.
They're gonna break my legs.
And it fits pretty well. Just have to adjust it a bit.
They're gonna break my legs.
So, I feel like to most people, that is completely unnoticeable. And it's something that I do a lot. Well, not a lot, probably like just sometimes, because it does work, and it does kind of save you from potentially if you record one take and maybe like the camera wasn't working with you there, but you really like how you sounded. Most of the time I find that I can just usually take one of my deliveries before, and then just apply it to just a later version.